Church is going to start in 5 minutes. This is your last chance to use the restroom and get whatever you need to get before we start Kidz Church. I'm so excited to see you guys today. Three minutes and 30 seconds till Kidz Church starts. All right, friends, just 2 minutes till Kidz Church starts. This is your last chance to use the restroom, to get something to drink. Make sure you're comfy on the couch and ready to go. Almost time. One minute till Kidz Church starts. Get ready, guys. We're going to have fun. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. here with you guys today. Last week we started a curriculum that was talking about Jesus' last 24 hours on earth. And so last week we learned about communion and the Last Supper. So today we're going to pick up from there. But first, we have a song for us to get our wiggles out. Now everyone needs to stand up and get ready for this song.
My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. Deeper than the ocean, your word is in my heart. Higher than the sky above, your love for me is endless. Stronger than the raging storm, my confidence in you. Closer than the air I breathe, you're always with me. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. Deeper than the ocean, your word is in my heart. Higher than the sky above, your love for me is endless. Stronger than a raging storm, my confidence in you. Closer than the air I breathe, you're always with me. Deeper than the ocean, your word is in my heart. Higher than the sky above, your love for me is endless. Stronger than a raging storm, my confidence in you. Closer than the air I breathe, you're always with me. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough. My God is big enough. My God is big enough for every situation. My God is big enough.
All right. Good job, you guys. Thanks for joining me getting our wiggles out. That was a fun song, and thank you, Samuel, for your help on that. All right, so let's see what we have going on next. Oh, time to go over rules. And I'm so excited for this. Rule number 1, interruption is so uncool, and you can't interrupt me right now, so that makes me happy. All right, rule number 2, give me a 2. Okay, only use righteous rap. I am positive that your parents would appreciate you using this rule at home right now. Rule number 3, never, ever, 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 ever leave your seat. Unless your parent tells you you can, okay? All right, and rule number 4, we are going to have tons of fun today, boys and girls. I am so excited. So right now, we are going to find out what we're going to learn about today.
and I'm here to continue our series called What a Day. Today, we're looking at all the incredible things that happened in the last day of Jesus' life. Have you ever had a major test? I mean, a test that was so hard, you didn't know how in the world you would pass it. The tests we take in school, they're tough, but the tests we take in life are even harder. At the Last Supper, Jesus knew there was going to be a major test coming. He was going to be betrayed by one of his disciples. Jesus knew he was going to get arrested and punished for a crime he didn't even commit. Jesus knew he had to prepare himself to face this major test.
So Jesus took his disciples to the Garden of Gethsemane. This is where he spent hours preparing for the big test. Jesus prayed to God and asked for strength. He asked that God's will be done. In today's lesson, we're going to learn exactly what Jesus did to prepare himself for the biggest test of his life.
We all face tests in life, but I don't just mean science tests, math tests. I mean tests like temptation, sickness, and all kinds of problems. God can help us prepare for these tests just like he helped Jesus prepare for the biggest test of his life. And that brings us to today's big idea. Today's big idea says, God will help me face the test. So every time today you hear the sound,
Hey! What's the big idea?
stand up on your feet and say, God will help me face the test. Well, it's time to get into today's lesson about what happened to Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane as he prepared for the big test. This is Najee, and I'll see you next time on What a Day. Adios!
All right, so now you guys know why we're decorated with a garden behind us today, but we're going to find out more about that in a little bit. So let's find out what our power verse is for today.
Looking for Glenn.
Glenn is right here!
All up in my grill.
Yes, all up in your George Foreman grill.
You spit on me. That was nasty. Hello, boys and girls. My name is Ben.
And my name is Glenn.
And we are here to pop
You are!
Yeah. Hey, Glenn.
Yes, Ben.
I have another knock-knock joke for you.
I am ready!
Are you sure?
Yes!
All right, here it goes.
Okay,
Knock, knock.
who's there?
Ivan.
Ivan who?
I've been waiting to teach these kids today's Barnabas. Are you ready?
Yeah! I don't get it.
Would you calm down, little one? Today's Barnabas says,
Keep alert and pray, otherwise temptation will overpower you. Mark 14:38. Oh yeah, that was a ripping good power verse,
Yeah,
man.
it was.
Yeah. Now let's get the boys to stand up. Boys, stand up right
All
now.
right, boys, stand to
Say
your
the power verse
feet.
with me, Glenn, on the count of 3.
Yeah.
1,
Yeah.
2,
Yeah.
3.
Keep alert and pray, otherwise temptation will overpower you. Mark 14:38.
Good job, boys. You making me proud. Now sit down.
Yeah, sit down because the girls are about to make me proud as well.
yeah.
Because they are super smart and really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, girls.
Right,
Stand up on your
girls,
feet.
stand
and
up.
say the Barnabas on the count of 3. Here we go. A 1, a 2,
Oh, yeah.
a 3.
Keep alert and pray.
Otherwise,
temptation will overpower you. Mark 14:38.
Good job. Go sit down. Go and have a seat.
Ah, sit down, sit down. You know, kids, you must pray and be ready for when temptation comes, because the truth is, Glenn,
What?
that temptation is all around us.
It is.
And we can be tempted at any second of any part of any day. And
That's
so we
true.
have to pray and be ready to face temptation when it comes.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, Glenn.
What?
Let's have everybody, both the boys and the girls, stand up.
Oh.
And
All right,
let's do the
stand
better
up
of us
with me.
together on the count of
Yeah.
3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Keep alert and pray, otherwise temptation will overpower you. Mark 14:38.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Sit down, girls. Sit down, boys.
Sit down, but you know what, Sven?
What's that, Glenn?
It's time to go.
Oh, I'm so sad. Yeah.
Don't be sad, because we'll see you next time.
Oh, that's true. My
yeah.
name's Sven.
And my name is Glenn.
And we'll see you next time when we pop.
You are! Oh, yeah! It's a Buffalo rodeo!
Oh my goodness, those guys are crazy, aren't they? Well, you guys know what's next.
What's the big idea?
The big idea. Everyone stand to your feet and we're going to say this together on 3. 1, 2, 3. God will help me face the test. All right, good job, you guys. So let's don't sit down yet. We're going to do our power verse together. And how about while we do this one, we try this whole patting our head and rubbing our belly thing, okay? Are you guys ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep alert and pray. Otherwise, temptation will overpower you. Mark 14:38. I did it this time. Did you guys do it? All right. Oh, here's our reminder. Offering time.
Does anybody know what time it is?
Offering time.
Does anybody know what time it is?
Offering time.
Does anybody know what time it is?
Offering time.
Does anybody know what time it is?
Offering time.
It's offering time.
Yeah.
I said it's offering.
All right, this is your guys' reminder that you can still give to the church to help us spread God's love to other people by clicking on the links in the description. But you can also send your money into the church. That's P.O. Box 349 in Lapine, Oregon, 97739. And we can get your offering that way instead of you having to come into the church. So just remember, we have multiple ways for you guys to still give, and that would be awesome, okay? Oh, so Chuck Stu is next. I'm so excited.
Hey kids, good to see you again.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Chuck Fu,
1, 2,
what
3,
are
4.
you
1, 2, 3,
doing?
4. I'm practicing the Boy Scout motto.
The Boy Scout motto, like be prepared?
No, well, I was going to say never pick your nose with your toes, but what you said makes a lot more sense. So
That's just wrong. Well, Chuck, what are you getting prepared for?
I, Chuck Fu, the greatest Kung Fu master of all time, have been invited to a tournament.
A tournament? What kind of tournament?
It's a Kung Fu tournament. Don't you know this? It's a Kung Fu tournament, and it's called the Super Terrifyingly Insane Ninja Kung Fu Tournament. Stink for short.
So, Chuck, it sounds like that stink.
No, not like stink like a bug, just stink. And when I am done with this, I will be the master of stink.
So you're trying to say that you're going to be the master of S-T-I-N-K? Or, dude, you're just going to stink?
S-T-I-N-K, whatever.
Right.
But I'm telling you, it's a grueling process. I'm having to do this new giant training thing every single day. I have to do 1,500 sit-ups.
Whoa.
I've got to do 2,500 sit-ups, push-ups. No,
Push-ups?
2,500 push-ups. Yeah, because sit-ups are harder because I like my chicken.
Yeah, you like, well, that's obvious. You got a rooster's
Hey, don't judge.
tail.
Rooster's in.
Right.
Boldness is out. So don't.
What you talking about, baldness?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's a very grueling
Sounds pretty
process.
tough. Sounds pretty tough.
It is pretty tough.
And
One of
then, what do? You said something that you did something 20,000 times a day?
I did not say that yet, but I was just about to tell you that. 20,000 times a day, I kick and I punch a tree. Now there's
You
two.
kick and punch a tree 20,000 times a day? What's that about?
Now, there's two reasons for that. One of them is it makes my punches and kicks stronger. The second one is the tree don't hit back.
The crowd's just going
I
crazy.
am too prepared. You just cork it down.
Well, it sounds,
there.
Chuck, as if you left something out, Chuck.
I
You
don't
left
see.
something out.
I don't see how I did that.
Are you kidding me? It's just like my list here that I've been putting together.
I even got a tree.
Sometimes when you're putting a list together, you forget some things. And over here, one of the things that I have on my list that needs to get done, and I think you ought to have on your list that you need to do with your workout, is prayer. You need to pray.
I don't need prayer.
What?
I'm not going to be the one needing prayer. Now, the one that does need prayer is the people I'm going against because they need to pray for mercy.
Oh, my,
I'm
my,
such
my.
a stinker, don't you know?
Phew, that was stinky. Chuck, I think you need to hear what we're talking about today. The topic today is the fact that Jesus went through a really tough trial, went through a really tough test, and he did it in a certain way. It was a huge test for his life.
Do tell.
Yeah, well, he had to go and get prepared in the Garden of Gethsemane before they were going to arrest him and beat him and crucify him. He had to go get ready. Just like my list of how to get ready to get stuff done around here is Jesus had to get ready, and part of his get ready was pray.
That sounds really, really tough.
Well, you mean what he was going to go through?
What he was going to go through, that sounds really tough. So you're saying that prayer helped him with that?
It helped him get through something way worse than your STINK tournament.
So you're telling me that if I pray, I'm going to win the STINK
I
tournament?
can't tell you you're going to win, but I can guarantee you this. If you will take time to get away with God and pray, then what you're going to find is you're going to be so much more prepared. You're going to be calm and energized and confident. And if you pray God's will be done, I guarantee you it's going to be better than if you don't.
All right, I will definitely 100% sure do that. Before I go into training, every single day, I will pray. Before I go into the tournament, I will pray. After every round, if I win, I pray, and if I lose, I pray. And I'll pray at lunch, too, because you got to pray for your chicken, because you never know what's in that stuff. But I promise you that I will pray, and I will see you in the kids next time, and I will be the champion of Sting. Bye, kids!
Kids, I think if you've been around Chuck Fu enough, he's already the champion of Sting. In fact, he hurts my nose every time I get around him. In fact, I have to pray just to get around him because I'm hoping one of these days I'm praying he takes a bath.
I heard that.
So here's the deal, kids, is you need to make sure you pray. And right now is a perfect time to pray in your life because there's things going on right now that nobody knows how to deal with but God. So make sure you pray because you're in a tournament for your life and the life of your loved ones.
All right.
Hey,
Stand
what's
with
the
me.
big
Time
idea?
to do the big idea. On 3. 1, 2, 3. God will help me face the test. All right. Good Good job, you guys, but don't sit down, because here we go. On our power verse, we are going to yell today. Can you guys blow your moms and dads out of the water with our power verse? I'm not going to yell, but I want you guys to yell, okay? On 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep alert and pray. Otherwise, temptation will overpower you. Mark 14:38. You guys, that is such a good power verse for us to be learning right now. I'm so excited for this lesson today. But before we do that, we have a game to play. So today we're learning about how Jesus prepared for the biggest test of his life by praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. So we're going to play a game that deals with other people who prayed some really important prayers in the Bible. So you guys, however you're going to do this at home, have a parent keep score on who gets the most right, and we'll talk about it later in our Zoom call, okay? So this game is called Who Prayed What? Question number 1. Who prayed that God would keep the lions' mouths closed? Was it David? Was it Daniel? Or was it Darius? Who prayed that prayer? And the answer is Daniel. Okay, question number 2. Who prayed that God would not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? Was it Abraham? Was it Adam? Or was it John? Who prayed that prayer? That was Abraham. Okay, question number 3. Who prayed that God would give her a son? She named him Samuel. Was it Eve? Was it Mary? Or was it Hannah? Who prayed that prayer? The correct answer is Hannah. Good job. All right, who prayed that God would not let it rain on the nation of Israel? It didn't rain for 3.5 years. Was it Elijah? Was it John the Baptist? Or was it Herod? Who prayed that prayer? The correct answer is Elijah. Elijah prayed that prayer. Who prayed that God would let him die with the Philistines? Was it Matthew? Was it Samson? Or was it David? Who prayed that prayer? The correct answer is Samson. What did Elijah pray would fall from heaven while he was on Mount Carmel? Was it snow? Was it rain? Or was it fire? What did Elijah pray for? If you picked fire, you were correct. Jesus prayed, "Father, let this cup pass from me," while praying in what garden? Was it the Garden of Gethsemane? Was it the Garden of Eden? Or was it Madison Square Garden? What garden was Jesus in? If you picked Garden of Gethsemane, you were correct. Who prayed that above all God would give him wisdom? Was it David? Was it Solomon? Or was it Judas? Who prayed that prayer? That was Solomon. Who actually prayed for soldiers as they were trying to kill him? Was it Abraham? Was it Matthew? Or was it Jesus? Who prayed that prayer? The correct answer is Jesus. Who actually prayed while he was in the stomach of an animal? Gross. Was it Jabez? Was it Jonah? Or was it Jehoshaphat? Who prayed that prayer? That, of course, was Jonah when he was in the belly of the fish, right? Ugh, that's not somewhere I would want to be. Well, I'm excited to see who won that game when we have our Zoom call later.
Hey!
Let's stand to
what's
our
the big
feet and do the big
idea?
idea together on 3. 1, 2, 3. God will help me face the test. Good job. And we're going to do this in a little squeaky voice. Are you guys ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep alert and pray. Otherwise, temptation will overpower you. Mark 14:38. Good job, guys. All right, now is the time where we get to learn what our lesson is about today. So I'm so excited. Everyone get snuggled in comfy on their couch and get ready for our lesson. Our lesson is called Face the Test. So have you ever had a really, really big test? Maybe it was a test at school. If you know that you're going to have like a test in math or a test in science, what are you going to do to prepare for that test? You're probably going to study, right? You probably have a textbook that's going to help you prepare for the test. This one is a biology, so a science book. But what if you had like a huge test in PE? Maybe they're going to make you run a mile to see how fast you can do it. You wouldn't prepare for that test the same way you would for math or science, would you? Of course not. You don't need a textbook to prepare for a running test. You need some good running shoes, right? That's what you need to prepare for a running test. But what do we need to have to prepare for the big tests in life? You know, I'm not talking about math tests or science tests or running tests or any other regular kind of test, right? I'm talking about the serious tests, you know, the spiritual tests, the tests of our faith. How do we prepare for those tests? In our Bible story today, we're going to take a look at what Jesus did to prepare for the biggest test of his life. Remember that last week we left Jesus and the disciples at the Last Supper, and Jesus told them that he was about to be crucified and put to death. He told them to eat the bread and drink the juice to remember him, right? So after the Last Supper, Jesus took the disciples to a place called the Garden of Gethsemane. The garden was a place that Jesus had gone lots of times before. He was very familiar with it. And it was there that Jesus began his preparation process. So we can learn a lot from Jesus' example. So let's take a look at what Jesus did to prepare for his test. So in Mark 14:34, Jesus had told the disciples, "My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death." Wow, Jesus was really hurting inside, wasn't he? And he was being honest with the disciples by telling them how he was feeling. And that's exactly what we need to do as well. When we're facing a test, it can be really hard. We can get worried. We can get scared. And you know what, guys? We don't have to put on a fake happy face and pretend like everything is just wonderful. You know that when people ask you how you are and you just say, "Oh, I'm fine," that's kind of like putting on a fake happy face. It's not really telling people how you really are. And we can be honest about how we're feeling. We need to tell our parents, we need to tell your family, your friends, your pastors, how you're really feeling and be honest about it. So then Jesus said to the disciples, "Stay here and pray with me." Jesus was teaching us the next thing that we need to do to be prepared. We need to ask for help. Jesus asked his disciples to help him pray. He knew that this was a big test that he was facing, and he couldn't do it on his own. He asked them to help him pray about it. And that's what we need to do as well. When we are facing tough tests, we don't need to try and do it on our own. We can ask for help, you guys. You can ask your parents, your friends, your pastors, your Kidz Church leader to help you pray about tests that you're facing. And together, God is going to help us do amazing things. So after Jesus asked the disciples to help, he walked off and he found a place to pray. Probably looked kind of like this, and he knelt down. And then he talked to God and he said, "Father, everything is possible for you. Please take this cup of suffering from me." So Jesus was praying that, please don't make me have to die, right? He said, if it's possible, will you please make it so I don't have to die? Because that's really going to hurt, right? But then he prayed and he said, "Yet I want your will, not mine." Your will, not mine. So he was willing, even though he knew that dying was going to hurt, he prayed and he said, "Even though I'm asking for you, God, to take this from me, I want your will to be done." So we need to pray for God's strength and God's will. Jesus didn't want to have to suffer, but he knew that this was the only way that our sins were going to be able to be forgiven. So he prayed for God's strength to face the test. He prayed for God's will to be done. And that's what we need to pray as well. We don't like to suffer and go through hard tests, but we need to pray for God's strength to face the test. We need to pray for his will to be done, not our will. So when Jesus was finally done praying, he walked back over to the disciples and he said, "The time has come. I, the Son of Man, am betrayed into the hands of sinners. Up, let's be going." So what was Jesus doing? Well, he was doing what we need to do after we've prayed, after we've asked for help, and after we've accepted God's will. After we have prepared, we need to face the challenge, right? When we've done all that we can do to prepare for life's toughest challenges, we need to stand with boldness and faith in God, have our faith in God, and face that test. We can't back down and we can't run away. We need to remember that God's on our side. And if we've prayed and if we've prepared, then he's going to help us face the test and he's going to help us win. We can't lose with God on our side. We will stand and watch his will be done, right? So when do you guys think that you need to start preparing for the big tests of life? Do you know, when you have a test at school, do you wait until it's test day and you're sitting down at your desk waiting to take the test? Do you wait for then to prepare for the test? No, of course not. That would be silly. You start preparing for the test ahead of time, right? Before it's time to take the test. So that's what we need to do to start preparing for life's biggest tests. We don't know what is going to happen in the future, but we need to start preparing now. Many of us are going to face some big tests and challenges in life. Many of us are facing them right now with the virus that's going through the world right now. A lot of us are facing some tests right now, and we need to stand up and prepare now to face those tests. We don't have to do it alone. We don't have to do it by ourselves. God says that we shouldn't do it alone or by ourselves, right? That we need to pray and ask for his will and ask for his will to be done. So we need to start preparing for life's test now. Let me pray with you guys. If everyone would bow their heads and close their eyes. Dear Jesus, I thank you for this reminder from the last 24 hours of your life of how we need to face life's difficult challenges. God, there's a lot of people around the world right now who are scared, who don't know what's going to happen the next day. There's a lot of people that have family members that are in the hospital fighting for their lives right now, God. And I just pray that you would be close to them. God, I pray that you would wrap your arms around them and remind them of how much you love them. God, I pray that you would be close to your people, that you would remind them that you are there with them and it's your will that they need to be praying for, not our own. So God, I pray that you would just be with each and every one of these kids as they're facing the new challenge of schooling at home for those that aren't used to that. God, I pray that you will help them to not get behind in their studies, but to help them go forward and conquer this huge test that's being placed in front of them. Jesus, I thank you for dying on the cross for our sins. Thank you for being with us every day and loving us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's wrap it up, you guys.
Ah, yeah. We're going to talk about how Jesus prepared for the biggest test of his life. You know what it is? Jesus was about to face a big old test. It was a whole lot bigger than he ever could have guessed. So off to the garden, he made his way, and in Gethsemane began to pray. He prayed for God's will, and he prayed for God's power to help him make it through his final hours. So when you've got to face the test, God will help you do your best, baby. That's right. You know, you got to pray just like Jesus did and pray for God's will and his strength. He'll help you face the test. I got a rainbow of flavor, and I'm living for my Savior. Skittles out, baby, yeah.
Skittles. He's so crazy. All right, it is time for review. Let's see how much you guys remember from today's lesson. Okay, question number 1. What was today's big idea? Was it God will help me face the test? When you take a test, don't cheat. Or don't test me, boy. What was our big idea? The answer is A. God will help me face the test. Number 2, what was the name of the tournament that Chuck Fu was planning to be in? Was it a chess tournament? Was it Stink? Or was it the Miss America pageant? What was that? Well, if you said B, you were correct. It is stink. Question 3. What did Chuck Fu forget to do as part of his preparation? Did he forget to eat breakfast? Did he forget to brush his tooth? Or did he forget to pray? What did he forget to do? The correct answer is C. He forgot to pray. Number 4, what was the name of the garden to which Jesus took the disciples? Was it the Rose Gardens? Was it Central Park? Or was it Gethsemane? What was the name of the garden? The correct answer is C, Gethsemane. In our lesson, we learned that we need to be honest about how you feel, how you pick your nose, or how you wash your hands. The correct answer is A. You need to be honest about how you feel. Number 6, in our lesson, we learned that we need to ask for chocolate, we need to ask for $1 million, or we need to ask for help. Which one is it? I wouldn't mind asking for all 3 of those, honestly. C, we need to ask for help. 7, in our lesson, we learned that we need to pray for God's strength and God's what to be done? God's laundry, God's will, or God's dishes? What do we need to pray for? The correct answer is B. We need to pray for God's will to be done. Number 8, in our lesson, we learned that after we have prepared, we must blank the challenge. We must face the challenge, we must crush the challenge, or we must run from the challenge. Which one is it? The correct answer is A. We must face the challenge. Number 9, true or false? We need to pretend to be happy when we face a big challenge. True or false? The answer is false. And the last question, number 10, where was our power verse found? Was it Proverbs 2:3? Was it Mark 14:38? Or was it Matthew 14:38? Where was our power verse found? The correct answer is B, Mark 14:38. Yeah, B. Sorry. All right, you guys, it was so fun spending time with you today. I pray that you learned a lot and that what we learned about today will help you to face the challenges that you have in today's crazy world that we're going through, right? So I pray that all of this will help you. I pray that you have a great week, and I will see you later at 12 o'clock on our Zoom call. See you guys then. I love you. Bye.